Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's session. Now, as Dr. Lambert said, this session is very interesting since today we will talk about understanding academic journals. In today's session, I will talk about some basic insights about journals, and that will help you that whenever you are going to start any publication, so that will really help you out. So today uh, we are going to understand academic journals. So let's start with academic journals. Now, first of all, we are going to start with a general discussion that what is a quality journal? What are the different characteristics of a quality journal that you want to publish your research? Now, we will talk about the other dimensions of the quality that we need to consider, but generally, like whenever we are talking about the characteristics of quality journals, so they must possess some high standard for acceptance of manuscript. Let's say whenever you are submitting any research, your paper, your article, your manuscript, there should be some acceptance and rejection rate. So usually when you go to any journal, I will give you some like brief examples and tips that how you can check the validity of any journal. So every journal now these days, if you go to their website or if you go to their statistics of any journal, you will find the acceptance rate. So if a journal is not accepting everything that is submitted to that journal, that is submitted, either that is within that scope or not. But there should be a rejection rate. And usually journals with 10%, with 5%, with 7% acceptance rate, they are considered that they possess some high standard for acceptance. So they only accept the articles. They are really value something for the research and that really contributing to academic journals and academic research. The one more thing that we need to understand about quality journals is the editorial board, the broaderly representation of editorial board. Now whenever we are talking about the broader terms in terms of their expertise, in terms of their diversity across different regions, across different domains, and then internationalization, there should be an mix of international and local board of directors or editorial board. So that again show the strength of any journal, and that is represent a quality journal as well. Then every journal have a referring system that how whenever a journal that the if you submit any article that is went through different peer reviewed system, so how that referring system is very critical. Usually let's say we have blinded and double blinded review system in which the reviewer and the person, the author, they don't know each other, and then review take place. So it is termed as double blind reviewed system. So the name of the particular researcher and the whether whatever the other information, or even the whosoever is making some changes or reviewing your article, that is again blind, so it is unknown. That shows the journal possesses certain quality. Then there must be an abstraction and indexing services, like they measure be covered via the measure indexes. Today's session we will talk about the measure indexes and measure abstracting. So that is the whole that we are going to talk about today. So I will give you a brief idea that how we can measure the measure abstracting and indexing services. Then the confidence level of scientists in terms of contents. So let's say that represent the reputation of a certain publisher. Let's say we have different publishers. Let's say the elsewhere, and there are journals. There are different publishing communities right? So these all different publisher, the whole the community that is publishing that research, and that is running, that is providing certain funding to the journal. So they are all represent a high quality journal. And then the frequency of citation. So we must check that how frequently whatever the journal is publishing, how frequently that is going to be cited. So we will talk about these different descriptions or these very things in today's session as well. So I will go through by the different standards as well. Now this is if we talk about this, how we are concerned with two things: how we can check the status of journal, and then how we can evaluate the performance of journal. So two standards we have. So first of all, we are interested that how we can verify the status of the journal and how to evaluate the performance of any journal. Now we have two type of measure indexes. The number one is Web of Science index journals. You can see here. And then we have Scopus index journals, right? So all these two type of the measure databases are there. Now let's say if you are talking about to verification of any the status of the journal, so we have two different sources. For Web of Science, we have master journal list, and for Scopus, we have Scopus journal title list. So we have two sources. The one is Web of Science, and the other one is Scopus. And for Web of Science, we have master journal list and then Scopus journal list. In terms of performance of the journal, so first of all, that represent certain databases, and there is a certain master journal list. I will go through these two websites and we will check that how these master journal list and Scopus journal list are going to, how we can check any journal over there. Then two important aspects are very important in order to evaluate the performance of the journal. The number one is journal citation reports. So whenever we are talking about Web of Sciences or master journalist, we are concerned with journal citation reports, impact factors, and tier of the journal. In terms of Scopus, we have SMEGO journal and country risk or SJR, that is known as SJR. So we will talk about JCR and SJR. JCR represent journal citation reports for master journalists, and they are indexed in Web of Sciences. And for Scopus, we have Scopus journalist, and then we have SMEGO and SJR, that is Scopus journal citation reports. So now we will talk about that what are these things, how we can check, and what are the different dimensions. So we have basically two major databases and then two way to evaluate these journals. So there are basically quantitative measures in terms of evaluating any journal. So first of all, JCR, journal citation reports, all the journal which are indexed in Web of Science. So there are different dimensions that how we can check the quality of any journal in terms of impact factor, in terms of their immediacy index, in terms of the agent factors and article influence. These are the major dimensions on which we can evaluate any journal which are indexed in Web of Science through JCR. And whenever a journal is indexed in Scopus, and then in that case, we are concerned with SIMEGO journal risk and SJR and side scores. So we will today talk about in detail about these different matrices of citations. So let's start with Web of Science index journals. So we want to measure the journal performance and particularly those journals which are indexed in Web of Science. So let's start with, whenever we go to journal master list, so there is a list mjl.clarivate.com. If we go to that side and if we write any journal name, let's say we want to check, Now remember, any journal on Web of Science in master journal list. So you can see on this screen, we have different collections of Web of Science coverage. These very collections I have mentioned over there. The first is Science Citation Index, SCIE, then Social Science Citation Index, then Arts and Humanities Citation Index, AHCI, and then ESCI, or that is Emerging Source Citation Index. So on Web of Science, we will find the four type of indexes, right? Any journal that lie into any of the category, so it's mean that is under the MJL, so that is a recognized journal that fall in certain indices, and these indices basically what they represent. SCIE journals, that is Science Citation Index is expanded journals. So they are usually the field of clinical, natural, and applied sciences. SSCI, they represent the social sciences. AHCI, that represent art and humanities journals, and then ESCI, that represent all the disciplines. So first of all, whenever we want to publish any journal, we go to Web of Science and we will check either that journal is indexed in Web of Science or not, and either that is under the any one of the category of these indices, right? And each indices represent a different field, a different type of research, basically. So this is the first way that you can check your journal if that is indexed in certain Web of Science, right? Or through master journal list. Now, once you have found that okay, that journal is within the any that fall within the index, so now we will check JCR of that journal. That is Journal Citation Report. So basically, what is JCR? JCR is one of the publishing research tool, which is done or maintained via Thomson Reuters. So they evaluate journals. They compare different journals using their citation data, and approximately there are 12,000 journals and conferences and other things like 3,300 publishers, like different publishing companies in over 60s country. So the database of all these particularly journals, their databases, that record is kept by Thomson Reuters under the Journal Citation Report, and they, on the basis of citation or on the basis of different factors, they basically rank different journals, right? So first of all, that we need to check whether that falls under MJL list, and then the journal citation reports. Now, one thing that is very common whenever we are talking about the journals or their JCR, that is journal impact factor, right? So now what exactly is impact factor? So basically, impact factor talks about the citation of any journal on the basis of two dimensions. The first dimension is, let's say, if we want to calculate JCR, the two things are very important. How many articles have been published in last 2 years, and how many citations have been already been done, whatever the articles that have been published in last 2 years, right? So this is how we calculate journal impact factor. So journal impact factor shows its mean how many time journal published different items, and how many times these very different articles are cited. On the basis of these two things, on the basis of publication and on the basis of citation, a impact factor is calculated, right? And that represent that how worthy is any journal in terms of their journal impact factor. So the impact factor represent what is the impact of these publication. Impact mean like the people are referring, people are citing, they are following. So it's mean they are publishing something that is really really important, right? That is the how they define journal impact factor via JCR. So impact factor is calculated by dividing the number of citation in JCR year by the total number of article published in the previous 2 years. So let's say if we are calculating JCR of 2012, so we are interested in how many paper have been published in 2011, how many papers have been published in 2010. That is the sum of 2011 and 10, which is 21,000 articles. And then in terms of publications, in terms of these are the citation and publication, let's say 276 and 271, like the 547 articles have been published and they have been cited 21,366. So all the citation divided by items, that how many items are how many articles, how many papers have been published. So if we divide this, we can find 39.06. So that is the impact factor of any journal. Obviously, whenever the number is high, so that represent the more strength, that they are publishing less and they are citing more, right? So that is a real dimension of the quality of any journal. So let's say if that value is less than 0, it's mean you are publishing but your articles are not get any response in academic research in terms of citing. People are not citing you, people are not referring your journals. So that's why that shows the less quality journal. So JCR basically is based on the how effectively you are publishing and what is the worth of your publication that people are citing. So we always go through with journal impact factor. So this is the exact story of journal impact factor. Obviously the high impact factor means that journal have a more worth, and a low impact factor means so obviously it must be an impact factor journal. Next, there are other than impact factor, there are other issues like immediacy index. That is basically the average number of times an article is cited in year it is published, right? So it does not include the self citation, right? So if average number of times an article is cited in the year it is published, let's say if an article is published in 2024, how many times the same article is cited in 2024. So that is again an index. So it's mean that you are publishing some recent research. So that is again one of the standard to measure the quality of journal. And then Asian factor score, that calculate based on the number of time articles from the journal published in past 5 years have been cited in JCR year. So impact factor usually talks about the last previous 2 years, but Asian factor usually talks about the performance of the journal in last 5 years. And then the article influence, all these things are basically every journal, if it has a certain impact factor, agent score and everything, so they basically report it, right? Give me 1 minute please.
Okay, we'll just have to wait a second. Oh, we have a question coming up. Dante, go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, good morning, sir.
Hello.
I was
Hello.
wondering if, hi again. I was wondering if upon completion of the program that we're currently doing, if upon completion of this lesson, we'd be in receipt of a transcript of today's lesson. Otherwise, I'd be forced to scribe for the remainder of the meeting.
I will look to see if the presentation is available right now in the student platform. If not, Dr. Syed, would you be able to upload the presentation at the end?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
I will share.
okay. Please continue.
That's great. Thanks.
All right. And so we are talking about the different matrices. So now I will just go to that very Web of Science website. So we will just check. I will share my screen with you. Okay. So this is the mjlclarivate.com. This is the site. So let's say I want to check any journal. So I will write a certain detail. Let's say any journal name we can use. We can use the Journal of Finance. We will search. All right. So here we can see that if I write the name Journal of Finance, so it will give you a certain detail, right? And here we can see that what is the Web of Science coverage. So that is included in Social Science Citation Index, right? Then who is the publisher? Ville is the publisher of this. Then their ESN number, and then additional indexes is there. So whole detail of Journal of Finance is there. We'll go to view profile page. So that shows this journal is listed. Now we can find the all the detail of the journal, who is the publisher, that is the detail of their numbers, the journal website, the first year when it was published, 1946. So that is the well reputed journal in the field of business. Then how many issues, their primary language, you can see the whole information is there. And this is the core collection, what is their core collection. And then you can see the journal citation report, or JCR. We can find the JCR over there, but if there is a certain subscription that is required, you can see the field. You can see the JCI, the new matrices. This is the 2.24, 2.37. These are the journal impact factors, normalized citation impact factor. So each and every information is available over there. So it's mean whenever we want to publish something, so we need to check that whether this particular journal is in terms of certain, and we can find the whole detail of the Web of Science, right? So this is the generally, so what we were talking about, Web of Science. So all these information is available over there, right? Now let's move to our second type of index, that is Scopus index journals. Scopus indexed. So basically, Scopus index journals, Scopus use Simago journal ranking system, just like the Web of Science use the JCR, that use Simago journal ranking. So what is basically Simago journal and country risk is a portal that includes the journal and the country's scientific indicators. There are certain indicators just like that we have in terms of JCR, in terms of impact factor, and other terminologies. Similarly, in Scopus we have different scientific indicator which have been developed by Scopus database, right? This is the website of the Smago journal, we can where you can find the each and every information of the journal. We will later on go to this site and we will find that what are the different information is available over there. So this is the I just share with you the screen. If you go to the Scopus and if we write something, you will find a lot of information over there. So just like we have Web of Science, we have Scopus Index, and we can go through and find every journal and their certain matrices. Now, what are the different SMEGO journal ranking system? Just like the JCR system. So there are different terminologies that have been used for SIMEGO journal ranking or Scopus-based ranking. The first one is SIMEGO Journal Rank Indicator, SJR. SJR is basically express the average number of vetted citation received in selected year by the document published in the selected journal in the 3 previous year. Impact factor uses 2 years, rather than SGR uses the 3 years. So on the basis of citation, again, citation and publication, there is a strong relationship. Whenever you are publishing less, but your work is cited more and more time, that shows the quality. So according to that SMEGO indicator, that which is used by Scopus databases, so that shows that how many time the citation have been received by certain documents in terms of last previous 3 years. So that basically SGR influence or measure the scientific influence of the article. Scientific influence, that if an article has been published, it have a certain influence in terms of future research and people are citing them. And then the H index. If we go to any Scopus based journal, you will find a term H index. H index express the journal number of articles that have been received at least H citation. Let's say this H represent, let's say if I will go through to H index later on, but I'm just giving you a brief idea. Let's say if I have published 10 articles, and how many times my 10 articles have been cited by 10 times. So that represent H index, right? Maybe I have more articles, but how much articles have been cited each time in terms of 10? Let's say my 10 articles have been cited 10 times, so my index will be, H index will be 10. My 20 articles have been cited 20 times. Each article have been cited 20, 20, 20. So that means my H index is 20, right? And then international collaboration, that if we are having any journal, so how many, who affiliation includes more than one country address, the document ratio whose affiliation include more than one country address. Let's say I am having a co-author from a different country, a co-author from any other country, so that shows an international collaboration. That is again one of the indicator of journal ranking according to Scopus. So these are the few things. We will go in detail more. There are other things. SJR and SNIP, just like other matrices. For Scopus, we use SJR and SNIP. SJR calculation: average number of vetted citation received in a year divided by number of documents published in previous 3 years. So citation and publication, so there is a relationship. Obviously, whenever this value is high, that shows a good matrix, that shows a value to any journal, that shows a value of any journal. And then SNIP, that is normalized impact impact per paper calculation, which is journal citation count per paper divided by citation potential in its subject area. Let how much citation this paper is getting and how much citation is this subject area, the whole area. Let's say social sciences, let's say humanities, let's say natural sciences, or whatever the different type of categories. So how much citation per journal there is a count of this journal and how much is subject in terms of subject. So that is the two more calculation of SJR and SNIP in terms of Scopus. And then site score, which is again similar to which is similar to SGR calculation. That the site score are usually it is the alternative of impact factor that is used for JCR, that is used for Web of Science. For Scopus, we use site score as well, which is the similar to whatever we have discussed SGR. So number of citation received by a journal in 1 year to the document published in previous 3 years. So let's say we are counting cite score for 2015. So we will count the citation received in 2015 to document published in 2012, 13, and 14. So last previous year publication, and then citation for 2015. So we will divide and we will calculate the site score. Obviously, a high site score is always preferable, and that shows the value in terms of journal. This is again the H index. Now I will give you a brief example. That H index, let's say author's total article count is 33. Let's say I have published 33 articles till now, but 18 of the articles are cited at least 18 times. So my H index will be 18. Or from 33, my 20 articles have been cited at least 20 times, right? Each article, okay? Remember, each article. So that means in that case, my H index will be 20. So this is again one of the impact, that how many type, if any journal is publishing anything, how many time that is going to be cited, right? Even this H index is used for an individual scholar as well, and the different journal as well. So H index is again one of the most important thing in terms of journal citations. Other than these very different quartiles, journal uses different quartiles. Either that is in Scopus, or either that is in uh, uh, impact factor journals, or that is Web of Science journal. So basically, there are four quartiles of any journal: Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. So we can use different terminologies: impact factor, site score, and Q. So Q is also one of the most important dimension of any journal. Q1 is occupied by top 25% of the journal in the list. It's mean there are 100 journals in any field, right? So top 25 will be considered as Q1. So obviously Q1 means highest prestigious journals within any subject. Then Q2, the second quartile, which is the journal occupied by 25 to 50% group. The top 25 to 50% group that represent Q2. Then Q3, the third level, which is the journal from 50 to 75% group, and then the Q4, it's mean they are within the subject area, right? For each subject area, Q1, let's say if I have a business, so then all the business journals among 100, what are the top 25%, next 25 to 50%, next 50 to 70%, and next 75 to 100%. So that shows Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. That shows against the prestige of the journal. Okay. So obviously, any journal with first quartile, that is Q1, means that is having a high quality, high standards, and then so on, Q2, Q3, and Q4 as well. Now we'll just go to Scopus website and we will just check the different thing. This is the Scopus. When I open the scopus.com home.uri, I will find this screen, right? So either we can search any authors, or either we can go for sources. If we click on sources, So this is the different window will open for you. Either you can use subject area or enter subject area, right? Let's say I'm interested in food science. Apply. It will give you all the journals, right? So let's say this is the first journal, which is natural sustainability. I want to check. You can see the site score, percentile. Either you are using Q or percentile, citation, documents, and cited in terms of. So the all the information is there. I click on nature sustainability, so it will give you all the detail of the journal, right? You can see site score. We already know what is site score, what is SGR, and what is SNIP, right? So these are the three terms that we have discussed. You can find on Scopus that okay, this journal, that is Springer Nature. It covers from 2018 to 2024. This is the ISN number. These are the subject type is this one. So you can find all the information of this journal now. Site score 41.9. Obviously, we can know. You see, 23,000 citation and 551 documents. On the basis of these citations, we can have a 41.9 site score for 2023. So on the basis of 23, we are using from last previous 3 years, right? 20 to 23. And then site score, tracking score, all the information that represent percentile 99th percentile are that is basically Q1 journal, and that their rank is also over there. You see, that is number 1 ranked in terms of social sciences out of 821, and in terms of environmental sciences that is ranked number 1 out of 399 journal. So that is one of the top journal among the all the databases of social sciences and environmental sciences. Other information is also there. This also lie in agriculture and biology, that is ranked number 1. So this is really it is in terms of energy, it is ranked at number 2. In terms of environmental sciences, it is ranked number 2. So this is the whole information you can find over there. So two things: this journal is indexed, one thing, and then their different matrices is are there, so that shows the quality of any journal. So now there is another thing: predatory journals. Whenever we are publishing, we are always faced with this issue that how we can measure. We have the two measures, but there are journals who are usually predatory. In terms of research language, we use the term predatory means they offer publish articles in return for a fee. They charge huge fee and they publish whatever you send to them, they publish, but they do not offer services with regard to quality control. You see, if I'm checking any type of different type of, I will go to right the quality controls like their scientific journals, they have SGR, they have site score, they have SNIP, they have other different dimensions. So these journals, they usually they charge fee, but they are not using any quality control standards. So usually these journals, they have they sometimes come up with fraudulent claims about indexes, and you will usually found impact factor 8 point something, but that is not indexed everywhere, but they just write G impact factor, global impact factor term. So global impact factor term is basically never used in terms of either web of science, or in terms of we have checked that either we are using site score and other matrices, but global impact factor is not a term that is used. So usually they fraudulently claim something that okay, this journal have this much impact factor. They they have they are copying names and design of established journals, similar names. They are using publication. They promise swift publication, yet there is no peer review. Usually There are the lakes in terms of transparency about fees, about withdrawal, digital archivings, and other things. They sometimes have fictitious editorial boards and some spam emails. So if there are few issues you can find, so that journal is basically predatory journal, and you must not submit your article to these journals. How we can check that this journal is not a valid journal? So if we go to Scholar Open Access, where we can have the Bales list. This Bales list mean these journals which have been potential issues. You see, potential, possible, or probable predatory scholarly open access publisher. So they Bales list basically, if any journal comes under Bale list, so it's mean this journal have certain issue. So you have to check it before you go to any, if you go for any publication. So you can see hijack journals on the Scholar Open Access SOA, which is the Scholar Open Access website, on which we can find the bail list. Or you see, they are hijacked journals, misleading matrices. So all the information is there. A list of companies that supply questionable scholarly matrices and journals whose identity has been stolen with the creation of a new and imposter. So maybe there are certain issues. So we will go to this particular list, and we can find that this journal is not indexed in a very in any type of a valid index. So maybe a predatory journal. Then these are the different Scholar Open Access website. You can check it. So how we will make sure that we need to publish with a reputable journal? So we need to make sure that your publisher is on COPE, that is Publication Committee on Publication Ethics. If you go to this website, I have this hyperlink. I will share these slides with you. You can easily go to that hyperlink. So there is a Committee on Publication Ethics. This hope there is a lot of information is available about the publisher. Now this is very important. The publisher who is publishing your research, either that publisher is a member of Committee on Publication Ethics. If that is a member of publication ethics, so it's mean don't worry about the publication, the journal is right, reportable journal. But if your journal is not a member of Committee on Publication Ethics, so it's mean there might be some issue. We need to check the Bales list and updates before we submit any journal. And then there is Think, Check, Submit website. So there are certain if we go to this website, we can find different questions, different answers. That is think, that is checking, and then either you submit or you don't submit about any journal, right? So this is all about today's session. We have talked about the journal insights, different dimensions of these journals, different insights about these journals. So the major thing that what is the take of our today's session is, so basically this thing, we have two major indexes, Web of Science and Scopus. We can find like million of journals under these databases, right? So we have to first of all verify the status of any journal. So we have two things, journal master list and Scopus journal title list. And then we have different journal citation reports, JCRs, and the different SMEGO journal and country risk for Scopus. So before we go, and we have different impact factor, we have different tiers of the journal in terms of Q1, Q2, Q3, we have SJR, we have SNIP, we have site scores. So all these things that give you a brief idea that okay, this journal is good, we can submit over there. and then predatory journals that we need to avoid before going to. So if any journal that is not indexed in the particular databases, so obviously there might be some issue with that journal. This can be harmful in terms of your research. So this is all about for today's session. So we now go to the question answer session. If we say, we can again go to the websites and check again the different other journals. I will just give you a brief idea how we can use this search journal. You can write the name. Let's say I'm using the name digital finance. Search. You will see this journal is not listed in any of the indexes. In terms of core collection, there are 4 core collection in terms, so this journal is not listed over there. We can find other journals, their information is there, but there is no, this journal is not available, right? Similarly, on Scopus, we can again go to sources. I can check any other journal. Let's say I use different names. I'm using okay, we can use the title. So now I can write any title of the article. Let's say Journal of Financial Crime. You see, the moment I write this name, the Journal of Financial Crime, so it's mean this journal is one of the Scopus based journal. So we can find, I have written the Journal of Financial Crime, I got some information. Okay, this is the information about Journal of Financial Crime. I can open. So all the information about this journal is now available. This journal is covered by Scopus. So now this is the best journal, the right journal. It have coverage from 1993 to 2024. Who is the publisher? Emerald. Again, this is the publisher. William, Emerald, elsewhere. A lot of publishers are there. ISN number and ESN. There are electronic registration numbers. Then the area. So you can see the site score that I was talking about in terms of Scopus, SGR score, and SNIP. You see, the site score is 3.1, the site tracking score is 3.8, so it is ranked at 87. 87th means, percentile 87 mean the top 25 that lies within top 25, right? So that means this is Q1 journal of Scopus, right? And then in terms of social sciences, it is ranked at 127 out of 1025. In terms of the field of finance, it is ranked 78 on 288 total journal. And again, that again fall in Q2. Here it fall Q1, the top 25, right? So since that is 73rd, so that is less than 75, the most top 25, so that is Q2 journal. So all the information is there. You can see for the Scopus, we need to understand what is site score, what is SJN, SNIP, and so on. Similarly, over there, if I have any journal, I can write the name of the journal, search journal. I can use the any name. Let's say financial literacy. I will search. I didn't find this journal, so it's mean this journal is not available over there. Then I'm interested in financial innovation, this journal, so I go to the view of science. Okay, this journal is have an ISN. It's Springer is the publisher. You see, finance and economics. First year it was published in 2015. It is from China mainland. It cover the SSCI index, right? The core collection, social and behavioral sciences, and other essentials. Other information, JCR, journal impact factor. You see the information. Usually Web of Science, for in order to see all this, we need to have a subscription. So since you need to buy the subscription. Sorry. So all the information is over there. And then lastly, JCR. JCR citation. Okay, now this is the JCR citation report. We need to sign in and register. And after that, if I write anything, it that requires certain subscription as well. If I write any journal name, so even you can match my manuscript with the journal which have been published. Okay, and all the other insights about the journal is available over there. Even impact factor and everything is over there. So either you can use the master journal list, which is MJL master journal list Clarivate, or you can use the uh, access Clarivate inside. So since subscription is not over there, and in terms of Scopus, you can find all this information. So thank you, and if any question, the house is open. Please.
Wow, excellent information, Dr. Syed. Thank you so much. This class is being recorded and it will be available on YouTube, on the Atlantic International University channel on YouTube, and on your student sections. So you can go back and find those links, to open up those links and view journals for your own field of work. All right, so let's go to the questions. I see one question in chat. From Saturnino, what are the challenges and benefits in the publication process?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the first question is, what are the challenges to publishing, but what are the benefits to publishing?
Okay. You see, whenever we are in the domain of academics, we we need we if we are doing some research, obviously we as a researcher we always want this research must be have an impact in terms of both society, for your personal grooming, for your academic grooming, right? So if we are publishing in a right journal, and if we are getting something from these journals, so obviously for your career advancement, now there are if you are in academics, if you are doing any PhD, right? So you there is always a requirement that you need to publish something. So obviously this publication is one of the demanding thing in these days, that you need to publish, and you need to uh, have a good impact in terms of research, right? Secondly, challenges. The biggest challenge in terms of publication is that the first question, that where we want to publish, what is publishable, how we can publish, where to publish, right? So these are the biggest issues that currently all the researchers are facing, that whenever we are you have your work, but that is not acceptable over there, or where what, to finding the right journal. You see, now there are the big journals, they are giving you the services of finding manuscript. You paste your abstract, and then they suggest you different journals. Otherwise, like, there are, in terms of, if I'm writing any terminology, let's say the business research, you will find like thousand and lot of journals. What is the most appropriate journal that covers your research, that is according to the standard, that today we have discussed, that okay, what should be the strength of the journal that we want to publish. Obviously it will in future it give you, let's say you are mired as a researcher in terms of how many citation you have, how many h index you have, what is your I index, right? I, as a researcher, if I go to my Google Scholar, so I always check my citation, how many publication I have done, what is my H index, what is my Scopus profile, what is my Web of Science profile. Okay, so that for academics, for being a researcher, these are your the key uh, uh, means that is your key strength or key areas that you can compete on that in today's competitive environment. Okay, everyone is have a degree, everyone is doing research, but exactly the important thing is that how you are different and how you are having a certain value as compared to other researchers.
Excellent. Let's just go to CC Jules, who wrote a question in chat, but you can activate your microphone and ask the question too.
Yeah, thank you very much. Very great presentation. So, first question is, could you please provide other reference journals for AI/ML? Because I'm attending the AI/ML academic program, artificial intelligence and machine learning. Apart from the MGL, apart from the MGL, we can have another reference journals for technology field like intelligence artificial. The first question. And the second question, what action or what prosecutive action can be taken when journals are hijacked? And the last now, when you told the impact factors calculation is the number of citation divided by the number of articles published last 2 years, you mean the citation by authors provided in the article or what? See the three questions.
Okay. Since I will just answer your last question. In terms of impact factor, how many citation? Let's say I'm calculating the citation for this year, right? So in previous 2 years, let's say this is 25. So how many citation have been done? But I'm talking about the journal, okay? All the articles have been published by this journal in last 2 years, and how many times these whatever the published journal have citation. So citation divided by the number of items that have been published by this journal, that calculate the impact factor. You see, if we are publishing less but getting more citations, it's mean there is something valuable. I'm doing research, my research is valuable, people are referring me, people are citing me, people are using. So that shows that one of the, let's say if otherwise I am publishing more as a journal, but my journal have no acceptance
Citation.
acceptance in terms of citation. So obviously my score will be low. It's mean maybe I'm not publishing up to mark, or maybe I'm not giving through a proper review or referring system, right?
Okay, that's
Uh,
good.
so
And the other
that's
questions?
how.
Yes, the other questions now.
Can you please again ask what was your first
Okay,
question?
could you please provide other reference journals for AML, technological field, for instance,
Okay,
apart
okay,
from the MGL, apart from the
okay.
MGL?
From MJL, Scopus, that have all the, and then IEEE for typical engineering-based journals, right? IEEE, the list of IEEE journals, so we can go through from these journals as well, right? So these are the big, but in terms of sciences, these are the two big databases.
Okay, and the prosecutive action to be taken for hijacked article.
Let's say if your article have been okay, now we need to consider this thing. we need to we need to go through very thoroughly before publishing. If we have published, I have paid fee, the journal is not now, let's say, hijacked, or that is predatory, so now my research value nothing, I cannot do anything, right? So before that's why we are talking about before going to publish, we need to go through all these different matrices and all these things. Otherwise, like, okay, this is the vestige of my resources, my research, and all these things. So that's why we have to be very careful before publication. Once it is
Okay,
has been done, usually, like, okay, that is not possible something.
okay. So you mean you have to take action before publishing your
Yeah,
articles?
before we need to consider before these. That's why we need to understand journals. and then publish, right? So we must make sure, okay, this is, if any journal that is based in a certain scope and have a reputation, it's mean that is a good journal.
Okay.
Otherwise we need to avoid publishing.
So you basically want to evaluate the quality and the reliability of the journal before you publish.
Yeah, before publish.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to Chimi Yunus.
Yes, thank you. Good
There you
afternoon.
go.
Prof, your beautiful presentation. I wanted to be clarified on the SNIP, its valuability in relation to the other matrix. And then when you talked about the citations, I would go back to what the person who asked the question initially asked, because somehow I didn't get clear when you said when a journal has more citations despite having maybe less publications, it indicates quality. Now, when we're talking about the journal here, the journal is publishing from different authors. So are we referring to a specific author's publishing being cited, or the journal as a whole? That's what I didn't get. Because, like, for
Okay.
example, a journal can
Yeah.
get from 10 researchers who have published 20 different manuscripts. And then one researcher is Dr. Lambert and the other is Dr. Andrew. So when we are now talking about the citations, are we referring to the citations as per journals released by Dr. Lambert, or we are talking about citation as per manuscripts released by Dr. Lambert, or are we talking about citations of the whole journal of the 10 researchers?
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you.
So we are not here, we are talking about not individual authors, we are talking about the journal as a whole. Whatever the people are publishing, irrespective of authors. Let's say 10 authors have published. You see how this is equality. It's mean this journal is accepting all the 10 articles, 10 authors, whosoever are doing some very important or some critical research, right? So that's why this journal, all the 10 articles, irrespective of the individual one, all the 10 articles that have been published in last 2 years, how many times these have been cited, irrespective of if one got citation, if other is not getting any citation. But as a whole, it's mean this is indicator of the journal, that whosoever you are publishing a quality work, rather than you are not publishing, let's say, one quality and 9 papers are not up to quality standard. So obviously your citation will be very low. So the journal basically, in order to improve their site score, in order to improve their JCR, they always want to publish the research that is really creating certain value for the reader. Okay, so that's why it's not in talking about an individual, Dr. Lambert or anyone else. It is talk about the whole, all the journals, all the articles.
All right. Okay, we got a thumbs up. That's a good answer. Now let's go to Luseco. Luseco, you should be able to activate your microphone.
Thank you, Dr. Lambert.
Excellent. Go
Yeah,
ahead. We
Dr.
can hear you.
Thank you so much to Dr. Shah for that presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm now looking at the under the Scopus matrix. I've realized that under site score, you learn that you only be able to see that the citation was done in the past 3 years, like the one you gave where it was 2012, 2013, and 2014. meaning you are supposed to be doing the checkups that is in 2015.
Yeah.
Now, my question is that is under the H index. Is there any limited time your citation can be cited by other publishers, or it can go as many times as they can cite it?
Okay. For H index, there is no limitation. My one article is cited one time. My two articles have been cited two times. My 10 article have been cited 10 times. My 50 articles have been cited 50 times, right? So that means how much I am publishing and how much I am got cited, how many time I am got cited. So H index, it depends on how many publication I am having. If I am having 1000 publications, my H index can be 1000 or even 500 or even can be 600, right? For certain researcher, it can be 10, it can be 5. Currently, I have an H index of 15, right? So my 15 articles have been cited 15 times. So it depends on researcher that how many publication you have and how many time you have been cited each article. So it depends.
Okay. Dr. Lambert, can I be allowed to ask you, Dr. Shah, that is it that every time when your citation is supposed to be cited, are you supposed to be communicated to as the author?
Go ahead. Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, yeah. Can you ask again?
So when you are cited, when your article is cited,
Yeah, I don't know if
do you
I'm
receive
clear.
do you receive a message saying
Ye-
somebody cited
Yeah,
your
yeah.
article?
Okay, I can show you. I can give you an example on Google Scholar if you allow me 1 minute. Let's say I have a profile on Google Scholar, right? Can you see my screen?
Yeah, no, it's not
Okay,
coming. It's
wait.
not coming, Doc.
You see, this is my s- Google screen, right? You see my
Okay,
H
it has
index
come now.
and I
It has come.
index. You see, every time if I got a citation, I can get this on my uh, email address, right? There are different things. You see, my this article got cited 98 times. I have these statistics. Google is providing you, Web of Science is providing you, Scopus is providing you. All these are providing you this information, right? So let's say
Yeah, it's clear, Doc. Yeah.
whenever you see, I go to my school, you see this is my login. Whenever my any article got published, I will get an information, I will get a message from Scopus that this paper got a citation. On Web of Science, I will be registered. For Google, I can show you this is my citation and this is my H index and this is my I index. My 5 articles have been cited 5 times. You see, this article have been cited 98. This article has been cited 23, 14, 13, 11, 5, and so on. You see, all the articles, we can see the whole list. This is my all articles. I will maintain my profile. So every time, whenever I got a citation, I have been informed via these different databases. So I have this information. Everyone, every time you do some research, you will get this information.